It is your boy T with another Have You Seen That with T movie review, and today I'm reviewing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. So in this updated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, we've kind of moved away from all of the movies of the past, all of the cartoons of the past, and they've developed a completely new animation style for this movie. This movie was co-written and co-signed by Seth Rogen. This is kind of his baby, right? You know, growing up, especially he's around my age, so he grew up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming on Saturday mornings, and that was such a big part of my childhood. It was probably a big part of his childhood. You know, the first Ninja Turtles live action movie, which was amazing, produced by New Line. This one came out, and they just had a totally different art style, totally different vibe, right? And they give a completely different origin story. In this version, we don't have Master Splinter being like a karate expert, you know, sensei who's turned into a rat, and the turtles, his proteges turn into like these ninja, you know, wonderkins when it came to karate. Like their origin story is totally different. They were born in the sewers, just like in the comics. And this time, you know, they pretty much are raised to fear humans because of an experience they had going out to the real world, and they learn karate. They learn, you know, all of these things in order to defend themselves. So they became, you know, karate experts, and they get into the actual first fight in the movie, which I thought was dope, right? They didn't come in, you know, of course they had all these skills, but they never tested them, right? They were doing all this stuff in the sewers with each other, but they never got into an actual fight until they got into the movie, which really played into why they were overmatched by the other mutants who were the villains of the movie. You know, yeah, Bebop, Rocksteady, a really wild assortment of mutant characters led by Superfly, voiced by Ice Cube, who really stole the entire movie. You know, it was really funny to see the parallels. It was really great to see the parallels between Splinter and Superfly. They both were the leaders of their group, and they both had completely different motivations on why they feared slash hated humans for what they did to them, how they treated them. And Superfly's mission was to create a mutant army, or create a world full of mutants to pretty much dominate the human species. And of course, the Turtles, who really just want to be average teenage kids, you know, fight the power, and they try to stop Superfly. And it really, there's a great dynamic between both of the groups. There's a great dynamic between Superfly and the Turtles. It was a really fun movie. And I enjoyed that the Turtles were finally voiced by kids, right? And they felt like teenagers. They felt like they were 15 years old. They were fighting against their father. They were fighting against, I guess them maturing. They were just learning how to be them. All of the characters felt distinctly different, but they didn't feel like their turtle selves, the turtles that we grew up with. You know, Raphael is growing into his anger issues, you know, and Leonardo is growing into finally becoming a leader, and he's stumbling along the way epically. And then we have April O'Neil, right, who I know a lot of people are going to come on the internet and say, oh my gosh, they even turned April O'Neil into a minority, and they're talking about diversity. But I think it really played into this plot because April O'Neil isn't the masterful reporter she's grown to be, that we know her to be. She's a young high school student who's really, you know, awkward, just like the Turtles, and I think that's where they grow that bond. I think that's where they have a common connector. And that's what brings them together, and that's why they end up fighting together. That's why they team together, and both of them really helped each other to develop, right? You know, April being a bullied kid in her high school, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they just want to go to high school. They want to be normal teenagers and be seen as, not pariah and not the mutants that they are. They want to be seen as normal. They're just, you know, like you and me. Really good story, you know, coming into the movie. The animation is great. I think the only fault of this movie, and it's no fault of the movie on its own, is the fact that it came out after Across the Spider-Verse. Because of the animation in Across the Spider-Verse, everything else looks amateur hour, right? And this I think it looked this way by design. It looked beautiful. I saw it in 3D. But like everything after Spider-Verse, it really looks rudimentary. It looks like they're trying to copy the choppy, kind of grainy flow of the Spider-Verse, but it doesn't come out looking as beautiful. To no fault of their own. And of course, the story, like I think every animated movie is now being measured against Across the Spider-Verse, just in the way every animated movie back in the day was measured off of like Toy Story and things of that nature. So I think, it's a great movie. I enjoyed it. It was a fun movie. It was 130 minutes. It was a tight, 90, I think 95 minutes max. Of course, there was no Shredder in this movie. There is a mid-credit scenes, of course, teasing that. But all of the villains, all of the story plots, it all worked. I think all of the characters worked. Jackie Chan played Splinter. He was fantastic. I thought he was very funny. I thought he, added a layer of comedy to the movie instead of being the serious rat that he was in all of the other adaptations of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I really enjoyed the movie. I think it's a great time. It's definitely going to be a great time for teenagers and preteens. I don't think this is a small kids movie, but at the same time, I think it's a movie for the fans of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles growing up. It's not our Ninja Turtles. It's now for the younger generation. But I think they're really going to enjoy it. I think it's fun. I think it sets itself up for future sequels. And I really enjoyed it. I really had fun at the theater. It was cute. It was funny. It made sense. And it just worked in the way it was supposed to work. It wasn't too much Seth Rogen toilet humor. There was one joke that they kept trying to milk to the end, and it just, to me, that one fell flat. But maybe a 10-year-old, 13-year-old, they probably think it's hilarious, right? And of course, pun was completely intended when I said that joke. But yeah, definitely check out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles this weekend. You'll have a great time if you take your kids, if you take the wife and kids, if you take the entire family. I think everybody will enjoy the movie because it had a lot of heart, it had a lot of substance, and it's just a good time. So until next week, I'll check you later on Have You Seen That with T. Of course, like and subscribe to the video. Listen to the Have You Seen That with T podcast on Spotify and Apple Music. And yeah, show your boy some love. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you thought of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles down in the comments below. And, tell a friend to come check me out. Have You Seen That with T? Until next time.